everybody, this is Rose of Sharon, and I'm back again with another series review. I just recently watched Castle Rock Season 1, which was on Hulu. And, oh my gosh, this was on the level of some really crazy, insane, trippy Twin Peaks stuff. Let me just put it that way. And being a fan of Stephen King, I could see where he took a lot of inspiration from Hitchcock. And you see Dark Tower references. You see references to Cujo, obviously. References to Psycho. Well, actually, it's not Psycho, but in his case, The Shining, because it's the Overlook Hotel. Actually, The Shining, other than The Stand, are two of my favorite Stephen King books of all time. And, of course, The Dark Tower. I adore The Dark Tower. But needless to say, I think that it's a really fantastic mind bender. And it's all about perception. This is my take on it. It's about perception. It's about time. And how people's memories can be manipulated, even in our own minds. And actually, this is proven in science that we can rewrite our own memories within our own brains. So, what can we trust? is the question. The answer to that is probably not a whole heck of a lot. And what if this is a simulation? That's another inquiry that comes across to me. And despite that, I think that even if it is a simulation, I am hopeful that the controller of my avatar is having a fun time and not doing anything terribly inhumane to me. Going on. Personally, I think that the series is terrifying in many aspects. The main character, or I should say the antagonist, well, he's not really an antagonist. He comes across as a victim of circumstance, I think. And there's one part that makes you feel like it's an homage to Signs, and I'm not going to say why, but if you've seen this particular episode in the duration of the series, you think, oh, is that what's really happening? Is that reality, or is this another dimension? And Alzheimer's is discussed as well. Alzheimer's and dementia, which are two different things, but they affect memory. So I find that absolutely fascinating, just the fact that they talk about the mind and memory and PK. Well, actually, it's a little bit more. It's more powerful than PK. It's The Shining. And he always called it The Shine in his books, which I always loved The Shining. It's just, I love psychic abilities. I've never really gotten over that. I think that these things exist. We don't use the entirety of our brains. So the question is, if all of us did, what could we do with that newly acquired talent? Lord only knows, but some people would probably use it for evil, but needless to say, the series, I think, is just remarkably good. It's outstanding. It's one of those series that I think would require additional viewings because there are a lot of Easter eggs for Stephen King fans like myself and anybody else who's a Stephen King fan. King has a way of snagging you immediately and then freaking you out, just giving you the worst kind of scare. I seriously, and I just started watching Hill House. It's not since Hill House or Rings or The Grudge or Dark Water that I have felt a visceral fear such as I feel when I watch this show. And that's saying something because I love psychological horror, and this has some humor, it's tongue-in-cheek, and also it brings forward some very intriguing questions about the justice system and how corrupt it is, how corrupt people are, how even the most docile person can be turned completely manic. And there's proof there's actually a video and you've probably seen it if it's in your recommended, how seemingly nice people can be twisted into villains. And I think circumstance has a lot to do with that too. If you were driven to do something against your moral code, which you normally would not, faced with a challenge that seems insurmountable, would you do it? If it was myself, and speaking just hypothetically, if my family was involved, I would go to any length for my family. And if I had children, I would go to extreme lengths. And I'm thinking that any person would, any mother knows that, any parent would go to the ultimate extreme for their kids. Actually, that's seen in the show as well, the instinct, the whole nature versus nurture. What can be defined as good, what can be defined as evil. The scamosa, I like the scamosa. It's the thinning between the worlds. I thought that's really cool. I remembered that from the whole Dark Tower series, and I thought, I personally think the scamosa is a real thing, because a lot of power spots, compasses will go awry, and Stonehenge has this magnetic field, and it has this power that it feels different there. I've never been to Stonehenge, but I really want to go to see if this actually holds water from hearsay. I've read a lot of books on the subject, and it absolutely fascinates me. I don't know if you would call that psychomancy. Probably not psychomancy, but it's hard to say what that would be called, because maybe electromancy. I'm thinking that would make sense. Electromancy would make sense. No telling what definition that would have in practical terms that we could possibly understand. I really don't have that much else to say about Castle Rock, other than new season's going to be coming out. I don't know when. Soon, I hope. But recently I just started watching Hill House, which is based off of the book of the same name. There are going to be 2 seasons. The second season is Bly Manor. And I'm thinking that Bly Manor and Hill House were actual places. And I know that there are tons of honest-to-goodness haunted houses that you could never pay me to go into. Saying, yeah, Huff Paranormal, have fun with your spirit box. Because, yeah, I'm not touching that, because it gives me the chills just thinking about it. But, I mean, I watch him. I don't like the fact that he's messing with something he doesn't understand, but yeah, good for him. If it makes him money, if he enjoys doing it, okay. Say people that mess around with seances. I know that makes me sound like I'm kind of a chicken, but I respect the dead too much to bother them. So I just think, okay, yeah, unless... If I were, this has never happened, even though I have some psychic ability. I've never been approached by a soul wandering in the abyss. So if I were, I would just say, hey, look, you're dead. Go to the light. You're free. Stop pestering me, please. You're welcome. But yeah, that's what I would do. And I don't care if I get any thanks one way or another. So long as his soul is finally at rest, that's all that matters. But I like the series so much, and it's the best thing I've seen. I think it was even better than 11/22/63, which is also directed by J.J. Abrams, whom I absolutely adore. He's absolutely a genius. He's phenomenal. But that's basically all I have to say about Castle Rock. So until next time, live long and prosper. Ciao, Titi.